40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Oh no. This is an intervention. It has come to my attention that I have started a few different series, and we're not going to get into the numbers. We're not going to get into the numbers. 3, 44, 45, 45, 45. But if we were to get into the numbers, the number might be a little jarring. You might be like, Grace, you have a problem. And while that is true, I do have problems. I'm not going to continue every series that I start because some books I just don't mesh with, and that's okay. Today, we are going to be continuing on some of the series that I do want to continue. And the first book is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I loved the first book in this series, When in Rome. I'm so excited to jump back into the small town where our characters live and also see the male main character from the first book, his sister, which this book is following. Love his sisters. They're just like the happiest, bubbliest girls. I can't wait to be in their point of view. And also, she owns a flower shop. Like, so fun. Okay, I can't wait to read this one. The next book that we are going to be reading for a series that I have started is Releasing 10. Now, this is a big book, okay? So I'm kind of using the pressure of having to film my reaction to it as motivation to read it. And I also am not sure if I like the character that this book is following, but for Chloe Walsh, I'm going to fight through, okay? For Chloe Walsh, I'm going to be fighting through. So we are going to be Releasing 10. All right, these are the books that I have planned to read in today's video. So let's just jump straight into it. I think I'm going to start with Practice Makes Perfect, just because this is a little less intimidating. A little less intimidating. So we're going to be gradually getting into continuing on in these series. So I'll follow up with you when I start the book. Hey everyone, I am about halfway through Practice Makes Perfect, and I just love this town. I love all of the background characters that you get to see in the first book, and now we're seeing them again in the second book. Each character just has such a distinct personality, and it's so funny, and you really just get to know every single person, like, that lives in this small town, and that makes it so immersive because then, like, your main character will bump into this one character and you'll be like, oh, I know that, like, she's gonna act crazy and she's gonna hate him and she's not gonna like him because of his tattoos, and then that's true. So it makes it so fun to read these books because you get to know not just the main two characters and like maybe a couple of background characters. There are so many different characters in these books and you just fall in love with every single one of them. And our female main character is so sweet. She's an awkward girl and she's very innocent, and her sisters kind of tease her and bully her for that, and she's trying to figure out how to date because every date that she goes on, the guy is always like, you're boring, which we're not even gonna get into that. That's so rude. But she's so awkward and so sweet. I think in like one of the first chapters, she tries to jump up into her truck, but she jumps too high and she smacks her head on like the top of the door frame of the truck. And like that's so real and so sweet. I love her so much. I just really love her. I think she's such a sweetheart. Can we just take another second for this cover? Because I think this is so freaking cute with the flowers. And the male main character, he sees our girl and he sees the awkwardness and he sees the boring, but he loves her for that. And he doesn't want her to change and he doesn't want her to like pretend to be someone else. Guys, I really am liking it. Hey guys, I'm cozy on my couch and I don't want to get up. So you guys are propped against a pillow right now because I don't want to go and get my tripod. But it's okay. I just finished Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, and I gave this book a 5 stars on Goodreads. But if I could give it half stars, I think I would give it a 4.5. I really like this book. I love our characters. They are just both such sweet characters. I love them. Like, I want to be their friend. I want to move to Rome, Kentucky and like be their friend, genuinely. Because everybody in this town, it's just so sweet, so funny. I know I mentioned it before, so I'm not going to repeat myself.
but the epilogue was so cute. It brought a tear to my eye. It brought a tear to my eye. What is with me liking epilogues recently? I'm usually not an epilogue girly, but this epilogue, like if you've read it, you know it's like not a normal epilogue, like it's not in the perspective of these two. It's like an outsider's perspective. And it's so stinking cute. It's so cute. I love how our female main character really went on a journey in this book, like figuring out who she is as a person and what she wants rather than what everybody thinks that she wants. And I love how our male main character was there for her and supporting her while she was figuring out who she is. The male main character would have been very easy to go in a different direction with because he's kind of like the bad boy, the outcast. He has a lot of tattoos. He's kind of, not gruff, but it would be easy for Sarah to have taken him in a different direction. But I really appreciate the sweet, soft side that we got from him. I really enjoyed his character, and I think his growth too in this book was crazy for such a short book. Sarah Adams really knows how to take you on a journey and how to show her characters growing, and I think that's really like truly a talent that she is able to encapsulate growth and change and personal development in such a short book. So I really liked it, and I'm going to be continuing this series. I almost forgot to show you that I got flowers, and I got these flowers because they remind me of the cover of the book because of the pink, and then there's also yellow. I couldn't find any orange flowers, but this is the closest I could find to the cover. And so now I have a little practice makes perfect bouquet because our female main character has a flower shop. And from reading the book, I was like, I need a little bouquet. So I went and got one.
Hi everyone, I am about halfway through releasing 10 so far. It's heavy. There are very dark things covered throughout all of the Boys of Tommen series. I'm pointing in that direction, that's where my bookshelf is. But this one, you really feel it, and I don't know if that's just a personal thing, but I really am feeling the heavy topics in this book. I think it's really good to read the uncomfortable books to increase your empathy and to be put in the point of view of people going through things that you haven't personally gone through yourself. I think that that is important because, like I said, like growing in your empathy. So this book follows two different characters. There's two different point of views, Lizzie and Hugh. And our girl Lizzie is going through a lot during her childhood, and we're still in her childhood. The first few Boys of Tommen books like occur during high school, so this is different. That so much is happening during the childhood of the characters, but I'm really appreciating that because I am learning so much about our female main character, and I was so quick to judge. Even at the beginning of this video, I said that I don't like her. Reading these 368 pages, completely understand why she's the way she is. It doesn't excuse it, but I understand why. And I think that that's intentional. I think that the point of some of these books is that Chloe Walsh wants to drive home the point that you don't know what someone else is going through until you're in their mind. Like, until you're in their shoes, you do not know what they're going through. And that's something that I'm definitely taking away from this series, is that you just never know what someone's going through at home. But I'm also really loving Hugh. I think that the way that he is responding to everything that he knows of that Lizzie is going through is so sweet. He never once thinks differently of her or judges her or doesn't want to be her friend because of what she's going through, because of the way that she is. I am really loving this book despite it being a hard read. I mean, I am 369 pages in, so clearly I'm liking it. I'm currently on chapter. The chapters don't have numbers, they have names. So this one is Target on the back, and it's in Hugh's perspective. So I'm really excited to keep reading, but I wanted to stop and give you guys a little update. And also, I put out my fall decorations. Look at how cute this little candy corn guy is. Isn't he cute? Okay, back to reading. Everybody, I just finished releasing 10, and I have a few thoughts about this book. It was very dark, and you don't go into a Chloe Walsh book, a Boys of Tommen book, expecting it to be light and fluffy and a fun read. They are all very dark. Truly have never seen a more traumatized friend group. This one spent a lot more of the plot in the heavy topics than I feel a lot of the other books in this series did. I liked this book. It was very dark, and it was a lot. And this is a long book for 90% of the content to be dark. So, trigger warning before you go into any of the Boys of Tommen books, they are very dark. This one is definitely the heaviest, at least for me. I'm kind of excited to move on to something happier, even though I did really like this. I ended up giving it 3 stars because, again, it just felt really heavy and it felt really long. And I'm really surprised by the timeline of this book. At the end of this book, we still aren't to where the beginning of Binding 13 is. Like, this is just her childhood. And to me, it just felt too long. If we took out 200 pages of this book, I think it would have been an easier read, actually. And I don't think we would have lost any of the plot, any intentions that this book has. I don't think we would have lost any of that. And so because of that, I'm giving it 3 stars. I'm definitely still going to be continuing on in this series. I think that the next book for Lizzie and Huey might be happier. It looks like our female main character is on a better track and things are going to be getting better for her. But this was hard. This was a hard read for me. I'm going to go read something fluffy. But I will be back for a little wrap up and we can talk about what we read today. Okay, hello everyone. We are back in my book room and I have both of our books that we read today. And if I had to summarize Practice Makes Perfect in one word, I would probably use bubbly. I think that it perfectly describes our female main character. She's so cute, she's so sweet, and this book follows her as she's on her journey to find who she is in comparison to who everybody else thinks that she is. And she's just such a cute, happy person. She has her own flower shop. She loves romance books. I think we can all relate to her in some way. And then if I had to summarize releasing 10 in one word, I would describe this as heavy. There are a lot of heavy things that are talked about in this book, a lot of heavy situations, a lot of heavy issues that are mentioned. And I think that everybody should know that before going into this book. However, I think that is an important read, and I think that Lizzie's story is one that has definitely stuck out to me the most out of like everything that I've read so far, being a part of the reading community, how everybody in these books was so quick to judge her, and yet there's a reason to why she acts the way that she acts and why she is so unlikable. And I think that right there is why we should read this book, because you should take that with you into the real world. We shouldn't be judging people for how they act because you don't know what's going on until you read a 730-page book about their life in their point of view. I really enjoyed both of today's books. I hope you guys enjoyed this intervention that I had for myself. I hope that maybe I convinced you to pick up these series, because I would definitely recommend both of them. Let me know if you've read them, what you think. You have any series that I should start? Or if you want to convince me to finish some of the series that I have not finished, please let me know in the comments. All right, everybody, happy reading!